Hey everyone. So I've got the studio set up again, and it's working really nicely. I like it. The lighting looks and feels nice. Yeah, I'm doing this on a Saturday because I've been ill this week. You might be able to hear the raspiness in my voice. I'm still getting over it now, and yeah, I'm catching up on a Saturday. I've done 4 videos today for the community, recording some content on soft skills development as we pivot different to focus on the things that improve our employability and our ability to be entrepreneurs. But what I really want to do in this video, and what you should know by the end of this video, is 1 or 2 really quick, simple ways that you can create a business without spending any money. There are videos like this all the way through YouTube, and a lot of them focus on things like dropshipping, which isn't a unviable business model, but is something that is a lot more complex than I think people give it credit for. So I wanted to just talk about this a little bit really briefly. How do you start a business, a side hustle, ideally if you're working full-time, to start with without spending any money? Well, obviously, if you're going to be selling a product like a physical thing, a book perhaps, then you're going to need money. You need to spend money to buy said product and sell it. And there are a couple of ways to skip past this. The first one is the obvious one, which is selling your time instead of selling a product. Finding something that you are good at, something that you are at least good at. You don't need to be an absolute expert in it. The more of a deep expert you are in a subject, generally the higher the rate that you're going to command, as long as the quality is good. But at the very least, being good at something allows you to be able to take some work off of somebody's hands, and that is time for money. You can be a freelancer, a consultant, an independent person that can deliver help for someone. A lot of the time this will take the form of building websites or brands, or in today's world, social media management. And you just simply have to come up with a rate, find some clients, and do the work. I say simply, it's not completely easy, but if I'm boiling it down to a video that's going to be under 10 minutes, then that's the concept that I would work with. There is something that I really love about the time for money piece, is that there's a sum that you can do to figure out what your hourly rate should be. Now, in lieu of any cool editing, which I'm still getting towards, I've got the video set up done here, as you can see, but if I had some cool editing, I'd put this maths on the screen for you. For now though, let me just talk you through this. There are a certain number of working hours in the day. Now, depending on the country you're in, that will depend on the number of average working hours that you have within the year. In the UK, there are lots of bank holidays, lots of national holidays, and so in observing those, we obviously remove a lot of days out of the year, but there will be a certain number remaining. And I can never remember what that number is. It's something like 2,180, something like that. What you want to do is you want to pick a number that is relatively reasonable for you to be earning doing said job of time for money, social media management. Let's say you want to earn 50 grand that year, £50,000 that year doing that job. You take that number and you divide it by the number of available working hours in the year, the likely hours that you're going to work that year, and you come up with an hourly rate. Now, the thing that people fall down on here is that they usually stop there and they think that's their hourly rate. What they don't factor in is the fact that you're going to be working in your own business, not delivering billable work for a lot of that time. Probably about 50 to 60, more than 50%, probably about 60% of the time you're going to be doing non-billable work. Let's just say it's 50 for argument's sake, because it's easier to do the maths. What you're going to need to do with that number you've got, after dividing the 50,000 by the number of working hours in a year, is double it. That's closer to the hourly rate that you're going to need to charge, because then you can be very sure that, hey, I'm going to be doing non-billable work to build this business, networking, building client relationships and managing them. And then the billable work that I spend the rest of my time doing is going to pay for that time too. And at the end of the year, we're able to deliver the amount that we want. Now, Factor the things like holidays and other times in as you need to. This is all entirely personalizable to you. And again, I'll probably do a clearer video eventually on this. But that's just one piece of information there around building a business without any money, which is your time, using your expertise, building relationships and a brand around yourself, around a specific subject or service that you can offer somebody to, at the very least, take labor off of their hands and do it for them, to free them up to focus on other things, and or provide them with a positive return on investment for the amount of money and time they spend on you. Now, what if you do want to sell a product? How do you sell a product without spending any money if you haven't got any in the bank account in the first place? It is difficult, but it's not impossible. Pre-selling product is viable. It's a viable option that actually many of us have engaged in ourselves, unbeknownst to us and unknowingly. My phone actually is a very good example of this. So this is a Nothing phone by a new brand called Nothing. They pre-sold this phone. It's an Android phone. It's pretty cool, does some cool stuff, but it's probably around £500 it retails at SIM only. Now, I bought this phone, paid for it, and all the accessories before it ever arrived, before I ever saw it, and before the company even launched officially. Yes, that was a bet on my behalf, but the company actually did that with thousands of customers. They were, as far as I'm aware, oversubscribed and sold out. Now, it's probable they had some capital to build this company to start with beforehand. But in your case, if you're trying to sell a product, maybe it's a t-shirt, maybe it's a book of some kind, and you need the cash flow to build that product first and foremost, to print those t-shirts, to purchase those books, then pre-selling is a viable option for you to build the revenue to be able to make that purchase and then deliver it later on. Now, it's not necessarily a viable option on an ongoing period. If you're building a clothing company and your t-shirts always take 60 days or 90 days or 120 days to turn up, then people aren't going to be very happy when they can get next day delivery at their favorite high street retailers. But for the first product, where you're building your initial community and getting people to fall in love with the story and the vision about what you're building, you probably do have the leverage to be able to get them to pay up front. Hey, I'm launching a book. Will you pre-buy my book? Will you pre-order my book? It's £30, $30, £10, $10, whatever it is that you need it to be. Get them to pay that up front, bring that into the bank account, use that money to hopefully profitably or at least sustainably purchase that product and deliver it as fast as you can. And do not forget to thank everyone for having trust and faith in you and doing that. Do not deliver that product, because at that point you're essentially committing fraud. Never charge someone for something that doesn't exist or something that you're not going to deliver, but it's a viable way for you to cash flow and bankroll the launch of a company when you don't have any money. So those are two ways in which you can launch a business without any money in 2023. I'm launching another business with very little money in 2023, and obviously I'm covering it here in these videos where I can, other videos in between, and always answering questions if and when anybody has any. So if you have any thoughts or questions on the process of building a company, then comment them below and it will prompt other videos. I will happily build them and create them at your request at this point. We're still building the channel, so remember to like this video because it really helps with the algorithm, and of course subscribe. If you would like to know when another video becomes available, then of course you can click that bell icon and set those notifications up so that you'll know as soon as I post the next time. I can't promise that every video will look this good, but hopefully I can promise that at some point I'll get used to this editing thing and we can start doing jump cuts and all sorts of illustrations in these videos. For now though, you're just submitted to these one-shot wonders, and I thank you for tuning in. That is my update, my mini update. That is also how to start a business in 2 different ways with no money in 2023, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.